loved stores and restaurants, the outdated transport hubs, and the grand hotels and theaters, which were raised to build high-rises. It celebrates the best of the world's most vibrant city before it was lost to the wrecking ball. So I'll just give you a sneak preview of what the book is like. Here we have the Victory Arch. The Windsor Arcade. The Stewart's Hotel for working women. The book is filled with incredible architecture and history of New York. So I thought I'd make a series kind of delving in to some of the locations that have been lost to history. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, please feel free to like if you like it, and comment, because I read all of them and I love receiving them. So, and yeah, let me know what you want to see in the future. If there's anything you like. I am working on the Marvel video, part 2. Just a little update. So, it's in the works. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy Lost New York. We'll begin with the Crystal Palace, which burned down in 1858. London's Crystal Palace exhibition of 1851, exhibiting science and technology from around the world, ignited the international exposition movement of the late 20th century. Inspired by experiences of the early fairs in Europe, New York's own Crystal Palace was the structural centerpiece of the exhibition of the industry of all nations of 1853, which most people simply call the New York Exhibition of 1853. The Crystal Palace stood on the site of today's Bryant Park. Check out my Bryant Park video. And was bordered by 40th and 42nd Streets. Today, Stephen A. Schwarzman Building of the New York Public Library on 6th Avenue. Check out my public library video. Architects George J.B. Karstensen and Carl Guildmeister look to London for inspiration.
That's the stuff.
Oh, what the hell is that?
That's London, baby.
They used William Paxton's design of the glass and cast iron structure, designing the palace in the shape of a Greek cross. Engineer Christian Detmold supervised the construction of the Crystal Palace. Its impressive 148-foot high and 100-foot wide dome complemented the reservoir building next door. When their creation rose up, the Croton Distributing Reservoir stood on the site of today's public library. It would be a monumental backdrop for the Crystal Palace. The 315-foot tall Ladding Observatory also complemented the surroundings. The tallest structure in New York, this building did not have a telescope. Rather, it afforded views of Staten Island, Queens, and New Jersey. From its Palace
Brother, this guy stinks!
attended the opening on July 14th, 1853. By the time it closed on November 14th, 1854, more than 1.4 million people passed through the doors of the Crystal Palace. Visitors to the palace's 173,000 square foot interior watched demonstrations that ranged from sewing on some of the first Singer sewing machines to the process involved in the new art of photography. They also saw newspapers that used photographs for the first time. Though organizers hoped to raise a profit, as the first London exhibition had done, a lower than expected attendance led to a substantial financial loss. The Crystal Palace exhibition closed in 1854. The building, however, continued its life as an exhibition space. The Crystal Palace has closed. Its last day was a dirty, muddy, sloppy, rainy, and unseasonable one. Its opening day, we remember, though it wet the president to the skin and drenched a great multitude of the unwashed, and those whose outer adornments were not made to wash, was yet a fine one. The promise of that day, we are led to believe, has been more than simply fulfilled. The rush to see that palace and its contents was soon over. With the close of the first season, the few who had failed to visit it got over their shamefacedness on making their confessions, and since then any enthusiasm concerning it has been manifested only in spasms, and upon occasions quite widely apart. Still, it has done a noble work. It has given a new impulse to the industrial arts, enabled the public to become familiar with the produits of distant climes, which, but for its mediumship, would have remained curiosities for many a year to come, furnished a gallery of statuary whose classical forms still linger in the memory, having molded the Tasto and inspired a love for such productions of genius in thousands who otherwise would have perished utterly indifferent to statuary, and down on all chiseling that does not help build houses. In 1,000 other ways, the New York exhibition has done good. It has preached a glorious sermon on work. It has shown crowds of the workers the best tools to work with. It has brought the workers in the roughest and in the most delicate departments of labor into harmony, and shown each how dignified and ennobling and essential to high human development is the other. We should have rejoiced could it have been made a permanent institution, but the fates and the state of its stock were against that. And now the styles that counted the admittances that we used to chronicle each morning so carefully will turn no more to admit the multitude under its beautiful dome, and into the naves and aisles forever. Gone, its memorials will be treasured, its history will be cherished, and the papers, books, pictures, and YouTube videos that represent its diverse excellences will be more than ever prized. In this connection, we cannot omit to congratulate ourselves and the public upon the fact that in the illustrated catalogue published by Mr. Putnam, we have its worthy representment and memorial. That is until October 5th, 1858, when fire struck. Despite extensive publicity that the structure's materials made it fireproof, flames consumed the cast iron and glass edifice. When the fire broke out in an adjacent lumber room, the palace was hosting the American Institute Fair. About 2,000 people were inside enjoying the exhibits when the fire spread into the exhibit hall. The hall's pine floors and the exhibitors' wooden tables and chairs created an intense heat that began to consume the walls. It soon climbed the ceiling, not only fracturing the building's immense glass tiles, but fusing the glass to the cast iron used to hold those tiles in place. Talk about breaking a glass ceiling. Reports expressed surprise at how fast the flames spread. It could have been extinguished with a pitcher of water, one of them remarked, yet in less than half an hour, it had reduced the entire building to a mass of ruins. Fortunately, no one was injured, and all 2,000 visitors escaped with their lives. Did 3 young men start this blaze? Witnesses recall seeing 2 or 3 boys running from the palace's 42nd Street entrance. Then they saw a brilliant flash in the nearby lumber room. Some even recalled smelling camphene, an oil the arsonist could have used as an accelerant. No arsonists were ever discovered or arrested. Among its souvenirs, the Museum of New York City holds a chunk of the Crystal Palace's burned glass in its collection, and commemorative medals from the first 1853 exhibition can still be found in the antique shops today. The Crystal Palace received 20,000 people on the first day of the exhibition on July 14th, 1853, with another 30,000 gazing from 6th Avenue. These hand-colored lithographs depict the interior view of the industry of all nations. Exhibition in 1853, and the building burning 5 years later. Thousands of commemorative medals were struck for the event, including this one by engraver Anthony C. Paquette. Imagine if the Crystal Palace was still standing today. That would definitely be something to see, a tourist destination, but we might not have Bryant Park or the New York Public Library, which are 2 of my favorite spots in the city.